Hello, welcome back to Corey's Corner. In this little mini series, we are going to be building an API with Ruby on Rails. So API stands for Application Programming Interface, and APIs are basically just a way of building an app that returns something other than HTML, for example, JSON or XML. So for all the apps on your phone, those apps basically make a request to an API and they take the data from the API and render what page you need. So let us get started. The first thing we're going to be building is we're going to generate a model. So it's going to be Rails G model book. And then we're going to have a title, author, then favorite character. And we can come over here, and then we will run Rails DB migrate. I'm just going to do validates, presence of title, validates presence of author, and then validates presence of favorite character. Alright, now it is time to generate our API controller. So we do Rails G controller API slash v1. So this is basically going to create a folder for our API, and it's just going to be called books. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make our instance of this controller, rather than inheriting from application controller, it's going to inherit from action controller in the API module. So there is, if you come on over to action controller API, it basically says that an API controller is a lightweight version of application action controller base. So our API won't have all of the functionalities of our regular controller. For example, it won't have authenticity tokens, which are used to prevent cross-site scripting. But anyway, so in our routes, we are going to, where is my config file? We're going to namespace our API, and this is basically done for versioning. So we'll have like version 1 of our API, and we'll keep version 1 up. So let's say we have a mobile application, right? And some people get the update for the new app, some people don't. So you want to have both versions of the API up at the same time. So we'll do namespace API do namespace v1 do, and then we'll just have resources books only index show create update delete. So we don't need our new actions or anything. And I forgot to mention earlier, but we're going to be interacting with this API using a bunch of different Ruby scripts and gems. So I'm doing like a whole HTTP series on Ruby. So this is basically, if we do this, we can come to our books controller, and in this episode we're only going to create one action, def index, add books, equal books, book, dot all. We'll do render JSON books, and then we'll come over to our console. We could seed our database, but I think I'm going to save that for another episode. So Rails C book dot create title a dance with dragons author George R.R. Martin, favorite character Prince Aegeon. Everyone thought I was going to say Daenerys. Alright, so now we can start up our application. So JavaScript object notation, or JSON, is basically just what's known as a hash or a map in other languages. So usually objects are referring to instances of classes, but in JavaScript it basically just means a hash. So we come on over to localhost. I'm on a fresh Rails application, and I do /API/v1/books. And we see we get our raw JSON data. So in the next episode, I'm going to teach you how to see the database, and then we're going to also go over how can we have more control over this, what renders inside of our JSON. For example, say I didn't want to render the created at or updated at. I will show you how to do that as well. So thank you for watching. And that is it for this episode. In the next episode, you know, I'll show you what's up. But anyway, check out my podcast, check out my Medium, and of course, check out my Ruby on Rails videos. Thank you so much for watching.